Remember them, Mike.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh.
It is. It's got a delay.
I'm gonna go a little out of order since we're so crowded in here. We have the Conservation Commission. Mr. Bozak, how are you tonight?
I'm good. Ready to start with us?
Yeah, we'll start with you. That way, it's a little crowded in here. We'll get that out of the
Well, we
way.
brought the whole commission here.
I see that. That's awesome.
It's Jerry Lanoy, Ann Blanchett, our secretary Ruth Gutman, and a new member Joseph Howes.
How you guys doing?
It's 5 of us.
Are you part of House Technology?
No, I wish I was.
Right?
We were all farmers.
Okay.
He's a good guy.
Is he?
Yeah, you'd like him. I went to it, well, anyway, I'll tell you some other time.
So, we're here to talk a little bit about access to the community forest over the Hebel-Heibel Road. But I've got some brochures that we produced for the community forest. You might just pass those around. There's a map in there.
Thank you.
So basically, we're here to just try to hammer out some sort of policy that will give the public, the residents, access to the community forest, which is a mile up the Hebel-Heibel Road. If you start at the Baker's Grant Road junction, it's a mile along the Hebel-Heibel until you get to the community forest. And I know issues about Hebel-Heibel have been around long before the community forest was established. We did that in 2 years ago, 2019. And so the current status of the community forest is besides the existing trails that were there when it was created, a new trail has just been added by one of the local youngsters who's working towards his Eagle Scout project. And it's already been used by some of the public. So we do have residents going up there and using the trail system. New trails are being planned for that as time goes by. And the Boy Scout troop has indicated they'll be using the community forest at different times of the year. And I guess the issue is the gate. And there's pluses and minuses apparently to the gate, but from my point of view, the locked gate creates a parking issue that interferes with the private house and driveway that's located before you get to the gate. If there are going to be a number of people that want to use the community forest parking there, it's going to create an access issue for those folks. And not a good thing. There's plenty of parking at the community forest gravel pit, which is the entrance to the community forest. So that's an issue to consider.
How far from the gate is the parking that you're talking about at the gravel pit?
A mile.
It's a mile.
Okay.
It's a mile. And have you been that mile?
I have not.
Yeah, it's a flat road pretty much, but not maintained. So there's plenty of washboard to it, but it is drivable with a pickup truck or a vehicle with a little bit of clearance.
Do we own the land between the gate and the community forest, that area?
No.
We own it right away.
No, you don't.
According to the rules, according to the book, we do.
No, you don't.
So when did that change?
Back in 1929.
Yeah, you didn't get this then.
Yeah, the attorney did the
And that
research.
was,
Have you
well,
seen
that
that?
land, because I was in the fight when they put wanted to put the waste dump in there.
Sure.
We were right in the middle of that fight. That was, it was back of Dad's land, back of our lands up there and all that. And back in '29, they gave it back to the landowners, the road.
That's right.
Yeah,
It was all given back to the landowners,
sure.
except for he left those bicycles, horses, walking, and snowmobiling back then. Because back then, four-wheelers weren't.
Sure.
Did you get a copy of the legal history that was sent here? But what you're saying is exactly right.
Yeah, I read, I think you sent that.
How many copies of that, and so we can pass it out?
Okay, and then you just, in 1991, the selectmen found that they had the legal right to establish a right of way. And they did so. It was voted in the affirmative on November 5th, 1991. So,
By
they
who?
went
By
to,
who?
by the selectmen.
The selectmen can't change somebody's deed.
I'll let you,
Correct, actually, in 1991.
Sure.
They can't change a deed.
According to that paperwork, the property owners have been paid for a right of way across that property. And that was by the attorney for the town.
No. No.
that's,
Nope. I've been living there for, 61 years I've been living there. Just on the other side of the road from there,
Sure.
on the Emery Mills Road. And nothing has changed. I talked
Actually,
to
it was-
Tommy.
it was voted on by the town. There was a petition, public notice 7 days prior to the public hearing. There was a public hearing. There was a condemnation order and assessment of damages, and then the town voted.
So I think we gotta leave the gate wide open, let all the trucks go up there.
But that's the.
Oh, I got my pictures. I'll show you exactly why.
We've been up there 100 times. I know what you're talking about, and I appreciate your issue as a neighboring landowner. But if we paid for a right of way, the town has a right to use that right of way to get to that property.
They get it. You got the right of way to use it. You got all those things that the state gave you, county gave you back then.
Yeah, but we're not talking about 1929.
No, I ain't talking about that. That's goes right up through till now. You go tell Tommy Porter, you can do anything you want on this road.
I guess what we're.
It ain't gonna happen.
What we're here for is to create some sort of policy we can all agree on for access to the community forest.
What are you gonna give it? Key to everybody in town? We started, then we go back to the same thing we started before.
We're not gonna.
The landowners, what's the primary issue? Is dumping trash, correct? And clean up and,
Yeah, for the last 40 years.
right. So what we're here to talk about is what can we do
Nothing.
collectively as a town? No, there's never, nothing is never a solution.
Let's at least,
That's not a solution.
yeah, let's have a talk. You know what I'm saying? Let's-
You know, the town has an annual cleanup day every year. The state of Maine puts out a landowner appreciation day every year. I know that because I contribute to the landowner relations program financially every single year when I buy my hunting and fishing licenses. It's there so that landowners can utilize the state. The Sewells are a classic example. All those signs that you see that are accessed by permission only, if you look in the little corner, there's a landowner relations program insignia. That's how they utilize that stuff. So the community forest is one particular aspect of a problem that we deal with across the entire town, whether it's Sewell property, community forest property, Abbott property. There are huge landowners across this town that deal with people dumping trash, and I totally understand this. But is it fair to say that the town owns a piece of property that we have a legal right of way to, and now the townspeople can't use it because
You can get to it. You can get to it.
a few,
No, you're trying to make an exception.
You can't get to it?
All right, well, hold on, Jerry's
So
got
if
something.
somebody-
I wanna bring my
I work as a physical therapist. If somebody has a walker or a cane or a wheelchair, you're gonna make them go a mile to access the community forest? I don't think, that's not a viable solution. So what can we do to figure out a way to make it known that the town can contribute, the Conservation Commission can contribute to annual cleanup days? And as far as I'm concerned, whatever gets expenditured for cost for those cleanup days comes right back to the town. And then when the townspeople realize that we have to raise taxes because their neighbors are being schmucks and they're dumping out off these back roads, something might change. We can't let a few people doing bad things across this town to private landowners that some willingly give permission for people to recreate on their property, ruin it for the rest of everybody. That's not a viable solution.
But isn't that the way the world is? Everywhere, no, but it is, every place,
Hold on,
every place you go, you get the same thing. You know,
A couple people ruin it for everybody, that happens a lot, yeah.
Sure.
But what do you propose, Jerry, to?
Well, I think, you know, just off the top of my head, you know, my thought is, there's a town cleanup day, right? It happens every year. So what we need to do is we need to reach out possibly to these big private landowners, particularly the ones on Hebo, and say, hey, listen, here's the deal. We're gonna do this cleanup every year, you know, and if that means we get a dumpster from Waste Management or more or less whoever, you know what I mean? And we clean that up and the town foots the bill for it.
All right,
And when we put it to the townspeople to say, listen, this is now part of the town's annual budget. And if that keeps happening to go up, maybe people will at some point get the message.
that creates a bit of a problem because you're waiting, it's a yearly thing, so if you got
Right,
couches,
right,
so.
right.
I mean, is any thought to maybe game cameras and signage and?
Oh, I think all that's viable, Chuck. I think it's all on the table.
Yeah, one of the things.
I think it's all on the table.
One of the things I was thinking about this afternoon was, we could keep the gate open for at least a trial period.
Yeah.
And monitor the usage with a game camera or
Yeah.
a trail camera. And see what the usage is, on that. And what problems, arise from that usage. And another thing we could do is at the gate, install some new signage about, what are the, no dumping permitted, of course.
Video, so
We're having a possible issue with target shooting at the gravel pit where we have people coming down the trails, coming back from their hike.
Yeah, people shooting.
So maybe some signage improvements as well.
Deborah?
So I just wanted to, just educate you a little bit on the town cleanup day. The town does not pay for that. That's, something that I sponsor as Lebanon Mead Truth Seekers.
Yep.
Just for the betterment of the town, and it's 100% volunteer. So the town puts no money into that. Everything, for that, all the bags, all of that stuff, come out of my pocket or out of donations from people, in the community. And the town does let us use the town office here, and we allow, people to come with, booths and stuff like that to educate the public. And, the Conservation Commission has been many times before. But I just don't want you to get confused that that's something that the town pays for, and so the town can have
No.
dumpsters.
And that's not, I didn't.
I can't afford it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to imply that, but my
It's
thought
too much
is that,
The town has gone through it before though.
is that something that we can look at? We gotta give these private landowners some sort of peace of mind that A, there's something being done to help look out for their property. Even if it's once a year, maybe it's biannually, I don't know. I mean, we gotta come up with something. It just doesn't seem like.
Have you seen the land?
Hold on, Butch, let me, James has been eating a while.
It just doesn't seem like this is, locking the gate to something, as viable as the community service, especially when we've got Eagle Scouts, doing projects that, they're busting their tail on and working hard, and now you're kind of handicapping people to go access it.
James?
Correct me if I'm wrong, I thought there was a key available that anybody could come and get to get access to it.
No.
How do you do that on a Saturday though?
Plan ahead.
Or a Wednesday?
Yeah, no, that was my understanding, that there was still a way to get in. You need to do a little foresight.
Well, let me say this, I agree with both sides.
Yeah.
And it's, you got the landowners, people dumping couches and doing all kinds of stupid things, but I 100% agree with you. You got Eagle Scouts and people trying to make this for the community.
Yeah.
So we do need to come up with a solution that makes everybody happy. We can't just say, we won't lock the gate because the landowners are having trouble.
Yeah.
And they've been pretty good over the years about putting up with it.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get together and do like a phone conversation with several of us and some of your ideas and the landowners, because I'm not comfortable myself, and I know it's a board decision, but I'm not comfortable saying, yes, we're gonna leave it open when the landowners came in and just explained all the problems they're having, because let's face it, that's really not fair that people are rolling through right next to their house and, imagine if every day you're going, I know.
You know where I live.
I do. I do.
So don't talk to me.
No, but I know, and you worked hard to get
Right.
that under control.
Right.
And I,
Well,
So
as much as you can.
yeah.
my question is, and I appreciate the landowners' issues. I saw the timeline that the attorney dug up with respect to everything that happened, and stuff was rescinded, and then stuff was petitioned back and got back. And according to the paperwork that I saw, people were paid for that access.
No.
Then it's a dispute with the attorney, in my opinion. It says on the paperwork that people were paid.
Never trust an attorney.
So I take issue with a piece of town property on a paid right of way being not accessible to people.
Do we know where the terms of the easement?
The what?
Hold on, it says they were paid,
The small consideration.
Small consideration, but
Remember
that-
I showed you in that town report when we were looking over the old town reports, and they showed you that piece that said that the selectmen actually went to court to reverse that to make it a right of way. So
Right.
that was done through the courts, that's what you need to find.
okay, well, even though, and again, I understand what you're saying, they were, according to this, paid a small consideration, but that
Well, I think
doesn't.
the consideration, Chuck,
Hold
was,
on, let me finish, and then, oh, there you go. That doesn't mean that, we still have access. So we haven't lost, we can still go through there. They were paid for that, yes, but we still have it. We haven't completely locked it off. The townspeople, some of us, and it can be given to boys, the key can be given to Boy Scouts, so
They have a key.
there's still, so there still is access through there. It's just not the wild, wild west right now. And I'm not saying that we can't work
I
to
mean,
change it.
I've lived local. I'm a Berwick kid, but I've been in Eagle Highway Road 1,000 times growing up. I know the challenge that you guys have over there.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt, I've hunted there and fished there my whole life.
Butch? You were gonna say something?
yeah, I think if it's talking about 91, that's when the end of what we went through with the thing. The town, the expense that we racked up as citizens that started this whole thing to stop them, because the town at first didn't care. They could care less, they went. Now all of a sudden they decided to do it, so they come in afterwards, as I was talking to Mrs. Potter, they come in afterwards and helped out with a fee, with some of our fees that we were using. That's, I think, where the money came from.
How many landowners are between the gate and the town? I don't have the,
Between the town one,
between the gate and the town.
between the gate and the town, there's 1, 2, 4, I think.
So I mean, if we literally came with some proposals and this is important because it is a town forest and you guys have done a lot of work, like you said, and it's something important for people, like you said, you got a lot of good memories growing up there. So it is something that needs to be worked on, I think, but it also everybody needs to agree on at least a temporary try.
Yep.
And if we could get the landowners on board with a decision of some sort and you guys on board with the decision, maybe as long as the landowners are happy. And that's.
Well, the lady that had all that trash on it, she hauled up to the second landing that they have, a trailer. It was a good sized camping trailer. And, they were gonna put it up there and they were gonna stay in it, see if they catch anybody. Cause they ruined a lot of that land with the trucks, the four-wheelers. Any place there was water, they
Well,
dug
you
it all
can't
out.
get through, you can't get through down at the bottom end unless you got a big rig.
No, I'm talking on the landowner's land.
Yeah,
Getting off the road.
Yeah.
yeah.
And, so they were gonna try to do it. They went back 2 days later to stay in it. It was gone.
Yeah.
It's up outside the road there somewhere. Somebody jammed it up, burnt it all up.
Yeah, and the fire was
So how you gonna police it if you open it up? We're gonna clean it up once a year, but how you gonna police it the rest of it?
Sure.
Well, I think there's some options. I mean, you can put some trail cameras up. You can try to do something to possibly, get some, I mean, that's what Fish and Game does. They do it all the time.
Yeah, you're gonna get a picture right there, that don't catch the guy doing something wrong. When they come
Right,
through.
Right, yeah, I mean.
True, but I mean, if guys want to burn out a camper, they're gonna do it on four-wheeler too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's Wild West out there with four-wheelers. The only difference is that the guys with trucks can bring more trash.
The four-wheelers gotta realize too, that's not a state maintained.
Oh, I know, it's
Landowner's trail.
Right.
it's,
Yeah, the four-wheelers and the trail bikes can get by the gate pretty much on.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're not the people that are gonna be dumping a lot of stuff, right?
You'd be surprised.
Somebody with, well.
right, I mean, they're shooting up signs and they're.
Yeah.
But if you had some trail cameras in there, and the guy's going in there with a truckload of trash.
And coming out with an empty
You get a
truck.
picture of them. It only takes a couple of times to have that happen, and you could,
Oh, yeah.
you could do something with it.
But you can't really police it, you know what I mean? It's hard, it's hard.
Well, the other thing too, Chuck, we could always talk with, I know, Phil Sewell is really in tight with Carlton Richardson, the local game warden, because Sewell's dealing with this all the time.
Richardson moved up to sergeant now, so he's.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
either way, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody from Fish and Game that would probably be willing to lend a hand, maybe show up at a meeting to talk about some of this stuff and maybe even offer some insight as to some options, that maybe even they could help out on.
Right.
Because all of these issues are just as much there, fall under their domain, as, because that's, who does Phil call? He calls Carlton Richardson, and they come down and they're the ones out there. I've seen them do it right down the street from my house. Some guy brought a boat and just pulled it into his yard and left it, and, they start looking for pieces of mail. I mean, all you gotta do is watch Northwoods Law and you can see these guys, they dissect that stuff and they find stuff.
Well, we found
And
him.
they,
I did find a piece of mail up in there. It was given to the, warden, but never heard a thing about it.
So what
So
can
where
we
is
settle on doing
where's the
here
gate
tonight?
now on this?
Well, I think,
Where's
I
the
think-
gate now on this?
Where's the gate?
On
it's
this map?
right near the road. It's 100 yards off the road.
So, like, where does,
Just past the house.
Do you remember when we went on that walk, Karina? where we
like right
parked?
here?
Yeah, probably something along those lines, yeah. I mean, it's
Probably
not,
300
it's not
yards
far
off
from the
of
road. Yeah.
David Grant.
Well,
As far as-
where are you having the problems with the trash?
Anywhere along
The whole road, yeah. There's all kinds.
Well, I'll tell you,
Before the gravel
the day
pit?
I went up, it was still burning. They
Before the
left
gravel
the
pit?
tires burning,
Sure.
all the rings, all the wire was there.
Was that before the gravel pit, Butch? I don't remember where
No.
that,
Right after
It was
it,
just after.
right, that's one on the left.
so it was,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was up after.
You could have filled this room with that stuff.
Yeah.
Sure. I think where we go from here is to try and get in touch with the landowners and let them know that you guys were in and there's some concerns. What kind of conversation could we have where maybe one or two of you agree to talk with them and we meet with them or whatever, and if maybe Butch can come along too, and
You want us to generate a list for you, or can you do that here?
the landowners, who the owners are. I think Butch has that list. Do you not, Butch?
Yeah, I'll get it up together.
Okay. And then, if we can, at least if you guys have a plan and when we have a bit of a plan, I mean, since it is town, whatnot, if it's small, we could see if the road commissioner could help with the guys if there's something that gets dumped up there, like tires. He gets calls for stuff on the side of the road. And if it doesn't get out of control and the landowners are willing to give it a trial period, maybe we can make it work, and get people to start keeping their eyes open and say, look, everyone's gonna lose this access.
Yeah.
I'd be for that, and that would not be stepping on anyone's toes.
The different, Dan's family's got a camp up north. I mean, and we've been dealing with, every year you go up, there's a new gate, there's a new gate, there's a new gate. The difference is from that gate and beyond is all private property. So those people, they deal with 10, 15, 20-yard dumpsters that they're costing them $5,000, $10,000, to clean up their stuff. And guess what? You find a gate. The problem is now we've got a town right away and we've got town property. That's what makes it different.
And it's something that.
Well, it is a town right away.
The court- according to the paperwork,
According to
it
the
is.
course, it's the right of way.
Well, I mean, for this discussion,
Sure.
that's argument's irrelevant, but no, I think that it's something that is, a lot of work's been done on,
Yeah.
and to shut, like you said, someone may be handicapped and wants to go up there or something like that. it's not fair, but it's also not fair as a landowner to have stuff.
Right, no, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that, you know, and
It's-
maybe if we can get them to talk and everybody to kind of agree that a trial period and figure something out and if tweak it a little or something like that. Yes, Deborah?
Oh, sorry,
No, it's okay.
so I just wanted to say, like, as I recall reading in that, it was not a right of way, it was an easement, which is it is different. It wasn't a right of way, it was an easement to the property because the town did own it. So I just wanted to make sure, because I know I said right of way.
No, didn't own it.
And then I was, the town owns that property, 275.
Oh, way up there, yeah.
So, so as I recall now in reading that, it was not a right of way, it was an easement, so.
But even though the town owns the
language.
right of way easement, the town owns it, but
Right.
as selectmen, we're in charge of that, and if people are getting stuff just dumped and nobody's doing anything,
Sure.
it's a nightmare, we can not let the public through there.
Right.
So that,
Right.
but I don't think that's the right answer, I think
Right.
something in between is the right answer.
Yeah, the
No, we're not here for solution,
No.
we're here for discussion and.
Right, no, and that's where it's gotta start.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My question is, so in the meantime, I think this is great, let's definitely have a meeting, get everyone involved, but if there is someone with, say, smaller kids who wants to have access to the forest, are they able to get a key to visit the forest, or is it just basically off limits until, I mean, like, I have a 4-year-old, he can easily walk 2 miles, but that gets us to the forest and back again, and
Right.
that's it, so.
we haven't really talked about that and with who we would sign the key out to. The Boy Scouts have a key. And
How about the Conservation
Yeah, we-
Commission having the key?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, yeah,
Well,
100%.
that, the town gave you really control of it.
No, I assume, I told Butch to give you a key.
Yeah.
Yes, you did, Chuck, I think so.
I'd have one, I'd have one.
But like
No.
right now, the weather's not really suitable, but come spring, we're gonna wanna go some walks out there.
Well, maybe we can have something established by spring, if
So,
Butch can get the list of, would you guys, one of you guys be willing to reach out to them and ask them if they'd be willing to sit down and talk with everybody, or do you want us to do it, or, maybe going up there, I don't know how to get everybody together at once, but.
Right, well, obviously, the first thing we need is a list of just who those people are.
Yeah.
And then I think,
Well, I
some
thought
sort
you
of written
said, I thought you said
communication.
you had it, that's
No,
why.
I don't have it, I said,
I'll get it to you.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, some sort of whether it's a combination write-up of the selectmen and the conservation commission.
Yeah.
Together, I think it would look good coming from both.
Yeah.
That we'd invite them to a sit-down discussion, so that their voices can be heard and express what our concerns
You can
are.
allow them to call in and
You
be
know.
on, even if people call
Oh,
in.
sure.
Whatever,
Yeah,
sure, yeah, whatever people feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
at
I'd be
least
willing
start to
to
have some discussions and see if we can come to
So,
some.
Butch, you're gonna generate the
I'll get the list.
list
for you.
of abutters to the, just as far as as the community forest.
Well, you should get to go
Well,
the other.
we're close to the line anyway there.
Yeah, you go away, still from the line.
And-
Now, we're talking the Acton line, John?
Except when the river goes right across the road.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can get in there unless you're in I turkey hunt in there a lot in the springtime, and boy, I wouldn't take my truck across that last little,
No, I don't go beyond the
Angle in
road.
there.
I don't go beyond that.
yeah.
All right, well, I guess we'll get the list to you and, yeah, Karina?
I do have a question. You say there's still a lot of people shooting up there in that area?
Well, occasionally people are up there sighting in their rifles before hunting season but there are plenty of other places, I think, that,
Oh, yeah.
Dan, you know of,
Well-
mentioned one time.
Well, we shoot at our own
Yeah.
property.
Well, what I'm asking is there has been an interest in doing some kind of community shooting range and thing like that. And you have so much land there. Is there any land that could possibly be used for that in anywhere? Or maybe another piece of property?
That
Yeah,
probably would-
That's a big issue
That's a
with
big
lead.
one. I think-
There's a huge environmental issue. We don't wanna have a town-sponsored shooting range. And I'm an avid hunter and fisher and shooter. You don't wanna have a town-sponsored shooting range.
Insurances and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
it's a great idea. It would be awesome to have, but the fact of the matter is I can tell you of 3 to 5 of them in New Hampshire right now that are facing hundreds of thousands of dollars of cleanups. And we don't want, it's bad enough whatever's already out there.
What's the contamination?
Lead,
let.
Yeah, copper do at some, at certain
Well, I
levels,
think you could probably ask people not to bring those things if it was something that.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No, well, they're changing that a lot now.
Well,
Yeah,
so,
but that's long ways away,
Is my
unfortunately.
mailing address and my
It would
phone.
be great, I wish we
Okay,
could,
I'll give you a
I
call
would
when I
love to
get
have
it.
something like that in town,
How's
but.
that?
I think there's a
I mean,
reason
we
that,
got 200 and something.
Sure, no.
there's a reason that Sanford Springvale,
Like,
Rodney,
email
you
it.
know, they're upwards of $100 a year,
Emails
you
on.
know, per member. Major
Yeah,
Waldron's,
that's
you know,
fine.
I teach on Red over at Major
Yeah.
Waldron's. They're $100+ a year because they've got to do all this cleanup stuff
Yeah.
and, lead shot, the ski
Yeah.
ranges.
Yeah.
They've got to go, I mean, it's a lot. And believe me, like you said, we'd love to have, you know, a public place to go shoot that was, but there's just way too much for the town to bite off. It's too much. But, which is unfortunate, but.
I'm just saying there has been interest in it.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
there's so much land here.
But it's not just a function of clearing out some land, I mean,
Don't take much land.
no, it doesn't, you know, to get in there with a skidder for a day and a couple of earth moving pieces of equipment, but if you've got a berm that these guys are shooting in, that's gonna just fill with lead, and that's a hazardous waste, and now you've gotta deal with it. And as it leaches out, it goes into the groundwater, and then you have an even bigger problem with that, so in today's day and age, a real shooting range that was outdoors would have a liner, and you're just talking very, very, very costly. I wouldn't want us to put our town name on anything like that.
Plus,
It's a lot of equipment.
just the setup of the gravel pit is the focus of where people might be parking and
Yeah.
hiking from and back to.
Yeah.
You know, the general public, so.
So are you gonna do a parking lot here?
No, there's already a level
There's a big
area
flag.
in which to park already,
Yeah.
the gravel pit.
It'll take a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
is there a
No more.
consideration maybe to put that another gate there? A gate there instead of down here?
That would defeat the whole purpose.
Yeah, it's the property owners.
No, they say the
before-
garbage is beyond the garbage.
No,
Is beyond that.
no.
Oh, no, it's
No,
before
you
and
get 100
after.
yards beyond the gate, and these guys are definitely dealing with crap.
They're dealing with stuff.
The trash issue has been around long before the community forest
Yeah.
was even thought of.
Yeah.
It's been around for 20+ years.
Well, the last time it was keyed, the reason it's not keyed anymore, because Tommy was getting tired of putting locks on, people were shooting them off
Yeah,
and cutting them. Coming from the other end, they didn't feel like going around.
Yeah.
So they just cut the locks off.
sure.
Again, people like to drive all the way through the Lebanon section, which is a couple miles, and then through Acton.
Yeah.
So it's probably 5 miles of
Yeah.
Hebo.
Yeah, it's almost 7 miles.
Is it that long? Yeah, I thought it was at least 5.
So it's been a perennial problem. It goes back a long ways.
And my brother and I carried a flat wooden boat from, we live on Avery Mills Road. We carried it down the road all the way up to where the water goes across the road. We didn't carry it back.
Yeah.
Let somebody else use.
So you dumped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right there.
I was thinking it, but I wasn't gonna say it, we were in a good spot.
Left it right in the water, like floating.
So once he's got a list of abutters and I've taken a look at it, we'll just pass the information along
Yeah, we can
to the selectmen's office.
maybe ask them if they'll come in, because I know they were pretty hot when they were here about needing something done, but again,
How long ago was that? I'm trying to
4 months.
Like I said, that started October.
Pretty fresh, yeah.
Started October or earlier.
Yeah, they came in. You can actually go back and review the tape, actually, if you wanted to pull it, you could.
Well, I did, that's why I filled the rest of the conservation commission in that we were,
Well, there you
we were
go.
gonna lose access, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, but yeah, I think negotiation or, working together hopefully can solve it. And, if everybody's agreeable to at least a trial period.
Yeah.
That can't hurt. I mean, they've waited a long time for a
It's still
gate.
up there. Nobody knows how they're gonna be able to get it out.
What, the boat?
What's his name? I think it was the ATV or snowmobile club. Want to know if they wanted them to help get it out of there,
I mean, really, we got snowmobile clubs, we got four-wheeler clubs, we got.
Well, I know this Sanford ATV club is
Yeah.
run by, or big contributor is Matt Leggett, and I know
Yeah.
they've gone in and cleaned out trail after
That's a
trail.
ton of trash last year.
Yeah, so maybe they would
They
be,
filled the dumpster.
Yeah.
maybe they would be willing to get involved and
Yeah.
offer.
You know, the state has the landowner program.
Yep.
And certainly willing to see whatever we can muster up for that.
Yeah, the key
Because
is to get
it's-
them to be happy with the trial period and with the plan. And
Right.
if there is a plan and they're willing to give it a 30-day shot.
Yeah.
And people are willing to kick in as a community, I mean.
Yeah.
A lot, I mean, look at our fire station, look what everyone's done coming together as a community.
Mhm.
It's not like we can't keep a road clean if everybody puts their heads together.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, I drive down Heath Road almost every day. And every day on Heath Road, you can guarantee there's something friggin' else dumped or out of somebody's truck.
Yeah.
And it's just shutting the town down to people,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I just wanna warn you guys, we need not put trails out in that swamp at all.
Oh, yeah,
We're
yeah,
not gonna be putting.
Not, stay away from the
Yeah.
brook, stay away from everything,
yeah,
bottomless.
yeah.
No, we're not,
Quicksand.
not in the business of creating hazards to.
You gotta stay up on the high ground.
Yeah, in high school, I made it to Sakapee.
Is there a place in the town forest where the ATVs go and ride?
Yeah, they go all the way to the end.
We usually go right
When,
through.
when it was last logged, partially cut, the main, trail up through the middle was as a result of the logging. There was a couple landings, one at the very top of the property.
Yeah, land.
And that's the trail that the ATVs would use if they wanted to go up into the middle of the forest.
And do they go up there? Are they not supposed to?
Well, beyond that is grown up pretty much, right to the big
Well,
clearing.
Yeah.
It's pretty much grown up, you can't walk through and see the other guy.
I think most of the traffic is on Hebo High Road.
They do go up there to that landing that he's talking about. But most of the time when I see the ATVs there, they're not out on that trail or up at the landing there in the gravel pit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part, I would say, I'd probably, just a guesstimate, 80% don't even go up that trail. They just
Yeah.
go
is
to
there
the gravel
an
pit.
issue with them riding up there? Is there a problem with it?
It shouldn't be, it's town property.
No,
Well, no.
Well, no, what I'm saying,
Yeah, but
on
what
the
I'm,
road, yeah,
well, what I'm
on the
kind of
road.
thinking of is they're pretty
Yeah, on the road.
successful at controlling
Yeah.
messes and helping clean up. And if there was
there's
some,
no trash up there, and
No,
unless
but
it
I
was an
mean-
erosion issue or something like that.
well, no, but I'm
Oh, to
thinking,
help use them to police, you mean?
yeah, if there was a place that was set up for them and it was kind of, they were talked to and made, where they would, certain sections that they could ride. And then
Yeah.
get the club involved where they're kind of policing too and letting people know when there's a mess or having a cleanup day because they ride up
So
there.
we're throwing them a bone a little bit to try.
Well, giving them an area to ride,
Yeah.
I don't know, and getting them involved because they seem to do a good job of self-policing.
I see a lot of them out there with trash bags and they're picking,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're picking up trash a lot.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people out there in Route.
People in the clubs.
I walk out there all the time.
Yeah, and they don't like it when somebody in the
They're
club or
not bad.
another four-wheeler or
Yeah.
motorcycle guy or, any of them that gives them a bad name because, again, one guy ruins it for
We're
everybody.
losing so much access everywhere that the people in the clubs and
Yeah, they step up.
people are really stepping up.
Yep.
And we got a lot of scouts in town and we have we do cleanup on cleanup day. And, we have a lot of little Cub Scouts that we won't let clean up on the edge of the roads because they're too young, so we do cemeteries and this.
With the
And
school
cleaning up a
guys and
cemetery
stuff.
is awesome, but I mean, we could really help somebody else pick up trash in the backyard and do something like that too,
All right, well, I think there's a lot of options. I guess the first thing will be to get in touch with the landowners.
Yep.
Okay, and see if we can go from there.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on,
sign
wait.
in?
Yeah, we need everybody to
You all
sign in. First up, Paul has a question.
John?
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of the legal document?
That was Chuck just made the.
No,
This is just a synopsis of it.
Did you get that?
I got this type of
One pager.
But do you have,
Not with
I don't know, I can call that.
can you give me a copy or a number?
I'll try to dig it up for you, yeah. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Gary. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, I'll send you that stuff.
I don't
Okay.
wear many because of that. I did.
Yep,
Thank
yep.
you.
I can sit wherever you want.
I know, that's my seat actually, where you were.
Good seeing you.
Around, my chair's warm.
We'll go one. Public participation.
I'll participate.
I actually have something, from last night, and I just wanna say that, last night, at budget committee meeting, I felt that the group as a whole was much, better self-controlled. I don't think there was as much argument, and I think everybody took the opportunity to raise their hand and speak. And I'm hearing some people that, complain because, they say that a bulk of the group navigated toward the one spot in the room where the camera couldn't see them. And so they're asking people, if they don't want to be seen on the video camera, they're asking that before they speak, they state their name so that people know who's talking. There's a lot of concern about some of the things that were discussed last night, and people say they have no idea. They're going back to review the tape, and then they're messaging me saying, okay, who was it that said this? I don't know, so I've got to now go back and review the tape to tell them who it was.
Maybe we can talk to Chief and, about setting the room up just a hair different and a better location for the camera, because there's even, I know we talked about this earlier, and you mentioned the kitchen countertop.
Right.
Which will get most people, but if anybody sits off to the right, it won't, but we gotta do the 6 foot different distance. So maybe we can reconfigure early next week how the room is set up, so people are the 6 foot.
Yeah, because I think at first everybody kind of spaced out, and then people are right. There was a very heavy population of members that tucked themselves.
No, we can work on that, sure.
So,
All right,
yeah.
what else you got?
well, I'll go to the town.
Okay,
Yeah.
James, anything? All right. Review a minute.
Boy.
You ever see that old show, Beavis and Butthead?
No, what?
Wait till you laugh, just
All right, Paul's got the floor here.
Yeah. I'm just remembering all the way, but on last week. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written for February 11th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
You can't.
No. Oh.
I can't.
Okay. No, you can't. Well, you-
I was here.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That's definitely.
Just a
Seconded.
All right. I'm confused.
Well, it has an effect on people. We did, we'll get them all together.
Paperwork?
Thank you.
Vacation? Okay. Trainings?
It started there.
Oh, new development's coming in.
Oh, okay.
The training program? Training program?
Oh, you weren't here, never mind. Back.
That's for the town report.
That's the drop.
So this one is someone that came in and paid their taxes in the grace period, correct? Okay. So this is a quick claim deed for a resident that was paid their taxes during the grace period that we put it on. this is the letter for the residents of Lebanon that's gonna be in the town report. Should I read it? Or we should just sign it?
Lynn's having off again.
All right, this is gonna be in the town report. The residents of Lebanon, we are honored to have been afforded the opportunity by residents to serve the town of Lebanon. We would like to thank all of the residents, employees, and volunteers for their dedication and hard work. It is an honor to work with such great people. As you know, this annual report is to provide you with an overview of the fiscal 2019-20 year. In the past year, we have said goodbye to Laura Bragg as she chose not to seek another term. With the departure of Selectman Bragg, the town voted in, and we welcomed Ernest Butch Lazat. The town has continued with assessing project with John O'Donnell and Associates, leading the way. This project will provide a fair assessment of all properties, and upon completion, will once again give the residents the full homestead exemption, which has continued to decline. With the global COVID-19 pandemic affecting everyone, we have continued to make the town office a safe place to work and do business. We have made permanent changes to the front office and will continue to be as safe as possible in order to keep everyone healthy. This virus has cost many lives, jobs, and businesses. As a town and country, we will get through this together. We're here to serve you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us as a board or individually. This is your town and your input is valuable. If you're interested in volunteering in some fashion, such as on a board or a committee, please reach out. Board and committee meetings are available for viewing on YouTube. Hoping and working for a brighter future. Well,
One team, one fight.
that's right. And this is the appointment for the vacancy in Budget Committee. There being a vacancy in the position of Budget Committee member.
Want to hold on? Please.
This one? Yes, okay. For another day?
Yeah, another day.
Okay,
There's a technical issue we need to discuss first, so
okay,
before we do that.
all right. All right, so last week, this was in the paperwork. And it got put off for another week to be, there's kind of a decision to be made here. We have a request for an abatement, and it's on Lebanon map and lot U17-041. This property is a mobile home with garage and a garage attached to the mobile home and a separate garage with several doors. And the way the mobile homes in this town are, $25,000 for the mobile home, correct, Paul?
Probably. I can't remember the exact number now.
And then every garage door, it is $3,000. So there's 5 garage doors on this property and a mobile home, which brings to what our assessing setup would be $40,000 for the building. It was assessed at $147,000, and this is for several years, many years. There's pictures of the property here. Pass around. And we have an option to do now the difference in the current tax rate that they've paid, I'll just use 2020 as an example, that was they paid $2,884.70. The revised tax rate, if it was assessed like the other mobile homes in town with garages and whatnot, would be $1,188.75. So that's a pretty big difference.
Do they not count these additions and things?
No, the mobile home. So I guess you could if you wanted, but the mobile homes are assessed at that rate.
Is that all mobile homes? At what, how much?
That's 25,000, but if there's an age on them, it covers that, I believe. Newer ones may be a little more. Am I right on that?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But a mobile home of,
There's a baseline.
yeah, a mobile home over a certain age, which just qualifies because it's a much older mobile home. All of them in town are 25,000, well, are supposed to be $25,000.
That's state guidelines.
Oh, that's state guidelines?
Yeah, the depreciation value.
Yeah, when you pay off a mobile home, you don't even get a deed, you get a like bill of sale,
Correct.
So,
like a car loan.
They don't want it back.
how does the board feel, 1 year abatement or it's a 3-year abatement?
So you've been paying the taxes at the higher rate for over the last 3 years?
More than that.
Oh, well, then that's a no-brainer. I'll go with the 3 years.
Butch?
I don't know much about how they do that, so.
The tax rate's been off for probably, I don't know how long, but many, many years. So we can abate back 1 year or we can abate back 3 years. We can't abate further.
Yeah, it'll make a year.
1 year? Okay, Paul?
1 year.
1 year. Karina?
I'll do the 1 year as well.
Okay.
Have they reassessed that now, so it's got the right number in there?
Yes. Which one's the one? 2020.
I'm gonna take the old one so we don't do next time.
Can I ask a question? Sure. If I'm out of line, tell me.
Yep.
So they've been paying twice what they should have been paying. Can people explain the rationale for doing 1 year instead of 3 years?
On overassessments, it's supposed to be a 1 year.
Oh, is it? There's already, okay, that answers it. If there's already something in place.
But you said you could do 3.
Well,
You'd have the right to override that.
Oh, so we could override it as a whole vote, but the 1 year is automatic, but we could go up to 3 years.
So how much extra taxes has this person paid? Because we have somebody on this board that this happened to, correct?
yes, myself.
So how much extra taxes did you pay to the town before you caught it?
Well, I didn't catch it. Ben Thompson caught it when he was doing the assessing. I paid $22,000 extra.
And so how much extra money has this person now paid in taxes
They have,
that you're not gonna give back?
I don't know how many years this is, but my guess is a long time, and just the last 3 years alone, it's $55,200 they've overpaid, just the last 3 years.
They've overpaid, not that
Overpaid.
they've paid completely, they've overpaid.
Overpaid,
5,500?
5,300, just the last 3 years. If you go back probably 10 years, it's probably closer to 16,000.
So-
15,000 they've overpaid.
So I'd like to ask the three that are going for 1 year, how you think it's right for the town to keep $5,500 that belongs to somebody else?
Paul answered it, Butch, why, Deb wants to know why you feel that only going back 1 year.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I see the size of the building right there. It's not a normal mobile home. It's got extended way out this way, and it's got a big back, second story like on the back side of it. I mean, it's plus a garage with the, with the garage doors.
Oh, he's been taxed for the garage, so he's been paying for the garage.
All right, well, the board's decided that, so.
Thanks. Did you make a motion and have a vote? Yes?
What?
Did you make a motion and have
Oh,
a
yeah.
vote? Thank you.
So, I'm gonna make a motion that we abate, Lebanon map and lot U 17-041, Trio account 2934, 1 year.
Which is 2020?
Yes. Any seconds?
Seconded.
All in favor? All opposed?
And what is that letter? Music.
Yeah. All right, on the agenda, we already
I
did
have one
the,
for you. Hold on one second.
Jaffrey.
I wasn't for it, so which one's this? Oh, no.
That's the letter.
Oh, it's the letter? Yeah, I signed that. Paul's gonna sign it.
This is a email from a local Girl Scout leader for Troop 175. A group of third graders in Lebanon. She is seeking permission to set up a drive-through Girl Scout cookie booth sale at the transfer station on Saturday, April 3rd, from 8 a.m. to 12. She spoke with the people at the transfer station, and they sent me to us for permission, she said. They will be following all COVID safety guidelines and distancing, mask wearing, glove wearing, etc.
No?
If you have any questions or need further clarification, please let me know. I think that's fine. Does anybody else have a problem with
You know, we did last year, right?
that? I don't remember.
As long as, they don't have a problem up there,
Yeah,
where she's located.
perfect. So, yeah, I think you can let her know that we're good with that. Does anybody have a problem with it?
I make a motion with all the Girl Scouts to do a drive-by Girl Scout sale.
Drive-by?
Drive by.
That's why I said it.
Yeah.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Because if we don't make a motion, be like, you didn't let them do it.
We'll let him anyways.
Yeah, that, I'll Robert know. Tell Robert know on that.
Yes.
All right, the budget committee opening, has been put off another week. We did get one application, but, she was working this evening and could not make it in, so we're gonna keep it open for another week, and she's gonna take next Thursday night off and come in, and somebody else fills out an application.
Somebody else leave, did they?
No, it was, somebody left and it was an opening that wasn't filled, so.
I know Skip did.
Yeah, well, it was, I think, prior to him.
Up before that.
All right, and, in the beginning of the meeting, I got a phone call from the lawyer, so we're gonna wait another week on the marijuana ordinance. That's what happened.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
So, old business. LED light project. Still holding recycling. I'm gonna have some sort of presentation next week with budget committee and with us as well. I'm just waiting for some final numbers. Solid waste ordinance. So working timber value, Butch.
Yep, I finally got some, numbers and all that, whereabouts this land is, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. The surveyor for, not the surveyor, the forester for Days, they're the one that's, interested in it. Cause I talked to Carol Sewell, she says, I get no use for it, I don't want it, that land. So I'm just thinking this guy here wants it for, there's quite a bit of timber on it. So we just gotta be able to walk out there. It's about 880 feet, just off the road that her and I went in on that last time. So it's quite I'd say if there was I was trying to look at the map, the way it shows, sometimes you could see indent light areas where an old road might have been years ago. And actually, it's right behind Stokewood Drive.
Yep.
But on this side more. And there's an old line that goes right from that line all the way up. I can see it goes right even with the land out there. So I'm gonna try to investigate on, I don't know, maybe there's an old road there somewhere, so I don't know.
So is it landlocked?
They say it is, but we're not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a landlocked any.
Yeah, they happen though, especially if it's an old lot.
Yeah, 22 acres. They got an area in there somewhere they can get into it. So, but the forester is gonna call me again. He emailed me that Matt that it and for everything. So he says, "You want to get down?" He says, "So hopefully next week my foot will
Be good?
I stopped bumping it."
All right, and the,
Heels up, will you?
the town report, for fire.
Well, I spoke to the chief about it, just recently, we could hopefully, well, they told me it is done by March first, so by the way, that needs to be changed March first, not February first. So, hopefully we'll have it next week.
Individual selectmen issues. Off.
Just go through the, two things from the budget last night that we need to discuss. On the relief agency, there was a recommendation by the budget committee. There was a motion made by the budget committee to reduce the, what was it, the wrong number down there. York County Community Action, we had budgeted $4,005 for it. The budget committee last night requested that that amount be reduced to the amount of $2,000.
And also they made a motion a week before that we add to the Ryan House, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Now, can I ask you a question, only being the second year in the budget committee meetings? And Chip pointed out the fact that when they put together, my understanding when we talked about the budget committee, if they didn't like the budget, they put together their own budget for that. And it's a choice of the people as a line item. But it's just, Chip explained, it's just a total number.
Correct.
So let's just say, for argument's sake, we don't agree with one of these and we agree with the other or vice versa, and they put their total number at the bottom of this budget, then it's still up to us of where the money goes in that budget.
The problem with this one is these are listed on the ballot.
Okay. It just makes more sense to
No,
me
no.
if the budget committee,
Yeah.
they shouldn't, if they want to change a budget, they should be able, and the people approve it, they should be able to put the breakdown of where that money is being spent in the budget. So it gets, it's just like general government if they change it. Yeah, now I remember that. Why is that listed on for the breakdown?
That's practice. People always wanted to know what ones we were supporting and how much, so they put it right on the ballot.
Is that legal?
Must be, we've done it for a long time.
No, just because you can't explain, they tell you
No,
you
no,
can't
no.
explain anything on the budget. You know what I mean? Like you can't explain things, on the ballot, you can't explain what it is, and people, you can't even tell them if they ask you and you're there. And you're working there, which doesn't make sense to me, so I don't know.
Once this is all done, it goes through legal review and
Right,
it's gone through, so,
yeah. Okay, so that one would be broken down by them.
yeah, it's the exception.
After hearing Laura break down what they've done for this community, I mean, we're talking close to $900,000 is what she explained.
Yeah.
And I think it's, one of the things is the Meals on Wheels, correct? Is that not them, or is that?
No, that's a separate one.
Okay,
They do
But-
fuel assistance, rental
But
assistance.
I would like to have her speak, because I talked to her this morning about this one.
sure, yeah, go ahead.
I have a very strong relationship with certain people in there to help when GA can't. And they bend over backwards and they're always there. And I just think that the relationships that we have built with them would be hurt a lot. They do help the elderly. Their budget, when you look at all that money that they get, it's from the federal government for LIHEAP, which is a huge thing. And they help a lot of people in this town with wood. If I need them to get wood, they can try to find resources. There's a lot of things they help with.
Are
Right,
you available next Wednesday?
yeah,
No, I mean-
and I said that to him, I said I would come and talk, because I do feel, out of all of them, and
They
they're
do
all
more than-
great,
It sounded like they do more than any other.
they are
They do a lot.
huge, they are huge.
I'm personally not for it. I don't know how.
Just where I live, can I speak on that? too?
Yeah.
What kind of community action did two disabled rehabs for people to get in and out of their homes, plus a roof for an elderly family because it was leaking and it was going to collapse or break and because it met the guidelines, and they paid for those three things, just in where I live, generally what I live in. So I'm right there with you. That's one we shouldn't be touching. Ryan House, I have my reservations.
Well, let's just get this one out of the way.
Okay.
And we will get to
Well,
that
you
one.
mentioned Ryan.
No, I did, because my question was about, it was
Yeah.
more of an open question, how it gets broken down.
Well, I would support the money that they requested for your county community action 100%.
I think for the amount of money that they give to this town, they're not asking for
Even the
much.
transportation they do.
They really do.
Everything.
Karina,
I definitely think we should keep it as well.
would you?
Keep it.
All right.
I will say is
And
that
if you want me to come Wednesday, I will, because
I think that
I do feel very strongly about that one. They've helped me a lot.
Yep.
They really have.
Well, I think coming from you, being the GA person, when there's such strict guidelines and you can't help somebody, that, maybe your neighbor in this town that doesn't meet the GA guidelines, but is going through a tough time, and you can make a phone call to them and they can show up and help. And yeah, no, I think it would be good if you came in next Monday. Paul, you want to leave it?
oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was not supporting that last time.
Okay.
Carry Unlimited, we talked about that one today. Because I was looking to see if there's any others that we might possibly be able to cut. But Carry Unlimited put in about $65,000 into the town last year. And helped about 41 residents
Yeah.
we found.
Quite a bit.
They give a lot of money when they might think to Carry Unlimited, it's a big,
And
You
Southern Maine,
volunteer gardening there too.
Southern Maine
I do volunteer
Agency,
gardening there too.
Southern Maine Agency on Aging, they helped about 87 people, and that was about $74,000 coming back.
And the elderly population, and a lot of meals and things, and doctor's appointments and things like that.
We did talk about the York County Shelter Program. She said that she has contacted them, and they have not been able to support new people coming in because they were
They're-
full.
Yeah.
But we did cut them from 1,500 down to 1,000 already, so. That's the,
And I will say that it's not just that York County shelter, none of the shelters, there's a shortage. I mean, usually when I call for somebody to put them in a shelter, the closest one is in Fort Kent, which,
That's
I
true.
mean, it's everywhere. There's just a shortage.
Deborah?
So I just want to say that I have two people that have already asked me for rides that are waiting for a bed at York County Shelter. They do take as many as they can, but especially with COVID, their space has been cut back, just like the shelter that I volunteer for in New Hampshire. Space has been cut back and everybody has to be spaced apart, so they're able to take less, but they're taking everybody they can. And York County Shelter Programs have been responsible for giving excess food over here, which we then gave out, comes from York County Shelter Program too. So, I mean, they're doing their share. I don't think there's one on there. The only one that I was concerned about, I'll speak on when it gets to.
which one?
The Kids Free to Grow.
Oh, so, okay, that was the next one coming up, so.
Yeah.
So that's the next one.
Oh.
Kids Free to Grow was for $250. You gave me the information to that today, which I have not looked through.
So my concern with that one is that every year we ask them to give us, like, how many times do you come to the school? How many people are you working with?
She's got that.
And every year they just kind of give us the generic.
You have the
Do you
documentation.
have the numbers there?
I don't, I gave Paul the handout with the backup, right? We printed that out, didn't we?
Yeah, you kept it.
Oh, I did?
Yep.
Yeah, the one that they had last night,
I
had
put,
numbers on
I
it.
had you send it to me on the email.
That's right.
Is that this one?
No,
Yes.
yeah, she's got a book.
Yeah, you want to see if I.
Yeah, go ahead. She printed out a book today.
If I can get a copy of that one, I appreciate it.
Actually, I sent it to Jerry, so you can get.
That doesn't mean I'm gonna get it, because you heard them saying last night, oh, we sent it to everybody, but we didn't have your email. They're like, 5 years of the budget committee, they lost it, I
It's no problem,
guess.
I sent it first.
You know, thank you.
Any particular one?
I'd like all of them, because they
No, I
all
mean-
seem to have it, and I did.
No, I mean your email address.
Thank you.
It does, the Lebanon Truth Seekers one is easy.
Okay.
And James didn't get any of those either, so somehow,
Oh, Jane.
well, you know, they lost our email.
All right,
Here's the
all right.
list.
She's got the list here.
Do you want me to make you a copy or?
No, I'm gonna send it to her, so.
Okay,
But
you're gonna
it
mail it.
does state in there how many people, right, they help.
Yeah, well, it gives their profit loss for the year 19 to 20. It gives balance sheet, the budget, expenses. It gives child abuse prevention
Can you
council
sign in, please?
through United Way grants, supplementary information with the auditor's reports. And then they give a lot of financials, basically.
Do they say how much they actually do here in Lebanon?
Let's see, there's so much here right now.
Profit and loss, so what are they, a private business?
Yeah, they're in
No, you have
501c3.
Nonprofit.
Yeah.
This is supplementary. That cover letter. And she said if we wanted any other information, she was happy to give it. I don't see the breakdown per town. DHS, let's see.
What do they do as a kids, what is it they do? Is it WIC, the WIC program?
No,
No.
we just. I
That's
just
York
looked
County.
up.
I thought it was-
Yeah, York County Community Action.
What program is all your community action to?
But I can ask her, she can give me numbers specific.
So you don't even know what they do, really?
Well, it's about child abuse prevention and
Yeah, I'm
helping
reading that right
parents
now.
and things like that, yeah.
You know, I'm all for one, you got your own kids to raise,
Kids to grow.
You ate them all.
A lot of kids though, they don't have support at home. Living. Unfortunately, I was. It's pretty depressing. Just doesn't show it in my neighborhood.
There's how many employees you have?
Budget, salaries.
prevention education, that's what they're saying.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
What does that
What do they
mean?
do?
it's child abuse prevention.
What do
They go
tell
in and they
kid
talk to
that
the
you're being
kids at the
beat or
schools,
something?
I believe.
Well, they, in general, what they do is find kids at risk and parents at risk.
But it's a school program, right?
I don't know if it's involved with the school. Possibly, that's probably where they get their names from, I would think, but I don't know that.
I don't know enough about the program, and after reading that, I feel like it's a,
Smoke and mirrors?
Connections.
lot, yeah. But, you know, they used to call them ambulance
The
chases,
DHS. So they're getting information through Department of Health and Human Services.
and just turn around and giving us
So
back
they're
out to
basically
people.
social workers report.
That's what it says, essentially, yeah, through Facebook and Zoom, they give out prevention tips,
Through Facebook and Zoom?
that's what it says.
Well, they can't do anything in person, now, so they're doing it through Zoom.
They charge DHHS based on established rates.
Like, it's essentially what they're a social worker assistant, I guess.
I need to say we're paying up for social work already. That's my opinion.
I've never seen, heard anything from any of those people, so other than a letter when it's kind of money
Me either,
time.
but I've been asking about that one for quite some time. And I think at first, everybody thought it was the Master Gardener program,
Yeah,
and then,
it's not, not from what I just read.
right.
Well, no, this is good. This is going through and filling in the blanks. This is what we should be doing.
How much was
every year.
I just sent it.
I'm sorry?
I just sent it.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
If you don't get it, let me know.
I'm gonna look them up on Facebook and see what they're actually putting out there. Well, you can't even find it. Okay.
How much is we giving them?
I'll look on the
I think
Facebook though.
from what it seems to me is that, because one thing I noticed is their salaries take up a good bit of their money, but it seems to me they're basically social workers that are contracted through DHHS that help with kids and parents. And,
Well, when you say their salaries, what kind of salaries you talking?
well, it doesn't break down by person, but
What's the total overall cost of salaries?
I'll give you that. Their total income from donations in July 19 to June 20 was $20,296. They fundraised, their fundraising was $1,890. Municipalities was $6,800. United Way and other grants, $179,510 for a total income of $208,496. Their salaries and benefits was $155,786. Other expenses was $64,781. So, but if those salaries were for people, if
Right,
what
well,
they do is provide almost like a psychiatrist or someone that they have to pay people to do that.
Right.
To work with these families and stuff, if that's what they're doing for people, it's not giving them money.
Yeah.
It's,
See, but, you know, I mean, we asked
Right.
everybody how
yeah,
many
counseling is the
people,
best word.
we asked all the other agencies how many people, how many families they're serving within Lebanon.
Right.
And they all give us that answer. But this, and maybe it's a
All
confidential.
right, no, I get you, and maybe it's a HIPAA thing. Did you ask?
I don't know, so.
Did you ask them how do we get that? You reached out to
I
them?
did,
Yeah.
but I
Did
can
you
ask
ask them how many people
No.
they?
I never ask any of them, they just always give me the breakdown. Yeah, so
I
I
mean,
can,
I would be interested to hear, and we could decide on that over email before next Wednesday, correct?
How much will you give them?
250.
It's not even a lot of money.
Yeah, James?
Yeah, I just have, I don't know if you're gonna contact them again, but just from what I've heard just now, it sounds like they're doing the same thing that social services does.
Well, maybe social services uses them if they're,
So if they're an outside contract for social services, social services should be paying them, not us.
well, they are.
But that
But
wasn't in
they-
their income.
No, it was.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems to me that if they're doing the same work as social services and social services is paying them, why are we paying them again?
Well, because they raise through donations and grants, and
Right.
social services is operated through tax dollars.
Yeah.
So, and maybe they try and help. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
I'd
saying.
be curious to know
Again,
what,
I'd be curious,
how much they.
and how much they help the town.
They help and how much is in Lebanon. That's what I'd be curious to know.
Yeah, even if they can't give us specific numbers, if they say we visited the schools 15 times or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, we should be able to do case numbers, because that's not HIPAA protected, that's depersonalized.
All right, next.
American Red Cross, I think we're all set on, it's 250.
Yeah,
Southern Maine Veteran Cemetery was 1,000, still good with that.
I'm good with that.
Life Flight was 500.
I'm good with that.
We all set with that one. Backpack Program, 250.
That helps the kids here.
They help a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Ryan House, 550.
I'm not good with that, again, because they got big salaries over there, and I'm not sure.
Well, that was, according to the numbers Laura provided, they do not, but I still have an issue with it. I didn't hear back from them, but again, I don't know how many kids in Lebanon they've helped. And I know two they didn't help, and I just have a problem with that one. I don't have a problem giving that money to someone else on there, I do have a problem with giving it to the Ryan.
Did they give you a reason they didn't help those two?
I never asked. I didn't know about the Ryan house till after that.
I just, pull up the financial reports. We got some pretty big, salaries that are in there.
So the thing that.
Hold on, James was
Oh,
first.
sorry, James.
Yeah, just for information, I presented this at the, budget committee. I did reach out to Ryan's house to try and get information. They wouldn't give me specific financials. They said that they haven't filed any yet. When I asked them about, their entrance requirements, how they pick who they let in and who they don't let in, they don't really have a hard and fast policy. It's based, they make it up as they go, basically.
Well, they must have some
They
internal
said,
thing.
Nope, they were very clear. Their guidance is whoever is the person doing the admitting, which is the house parent, makes a judgment call.
Okay.
So that was almost verbatim what you told me, because I was kind of surprised at that. And I pushed to go, well, you've got some process or some documentation. No, it's just that person makes decision. They can have up to 6 residents, six kids. They've never been full. So they've never had a space issue to turn someone away. And then the other thing was on salaries, while the numbers in the reports, the ones that you mentioned, Chuck, were pretty reasonable, it's important to remember that the salary number that they provide is the cash they pay the people. The 2 house parents they have live rent-free, grocery-free, utility-free. They basically get their entire housing and support for free. So instead of looking at their dollars, if you look at their actual compensation, it's significantly higher.
But in their defense, their cash pay was how much?
It's a tad over $1,000 a month.
Right, $12,000.
Yeah, 12,000.
That's, you couldn't pay me $1,000 a month and room and board and everything to.
Well, I know.
To live there, is
I
what I'm
know-
saying. It's not their own home. It's not.
I've worked in group homes before, long time ago, first of all, but a long time ago. And the model of having live-in residence must be something, or live in the same people living in 24/7, must be something new, because every group home I've ever worked with, consulted at, been involved with, they have shifts.
Yeah, but still that salary, and in my opinion, $12,000 a year plus room and
No,
board.
I'm just saying,
Not a lot to raise
I'm not
four.
saying it's a
5.
lot, I'm
Yeah.
just saying the number's bigger than
Right.
just that 12,000 a year.
What, you have anything you want to say about? How's everybody feel? Karina, anything you want to say about?
This year, we have helped 7 students, 2 were from Lebanon.
Help, like how long were they there?
Mhm.
Are you talking to somebody there?
Yeah, Sue Austin.
How many have they turned away?
Hold on.
Is that Keith Austin's wife?
No,
Mm-mm.
No?
no, she's a, assistant
Principal. Yeah,
superintendent.
that's right, yeah.
You can move on from it. I'll let you know as soon as she answers me.
The way I have it right now, then, Kids Free to Grow and the Ryan House are negotiable on our end.
Yeah, I'm still up in the air.
Because if they want to save money.
I wasn't up in the air on the Ryan House, but now I am, depending on what the answer is.
But that's the only way we're consider reducing. All right, and the second one is on animal control. That one's a little bit more straightforward. We budgeted a total of $17,500. The Budget committee motion, 9 voted in favor to cut that $1,500 out of that. So from 17,500 down to 16,000.
What was it the last 2 years?
Last year was 17,500, the year before that was,
Was it 19?
18.
It was higher, yeah.
It was 19.
All right, so I spoke to Mary today. And she's pretty upset, and I don't know if angry upset is the right word, but pretty hurt that they go out of their way to make sure they come in under their number. A lot of things that don't show up that they do and they don't bill the town for, where they go out of their way. And to work to come under budget, and she doesn't want her budget cut, and she feels that it would just add a lot of stress for them if it was cut closer, but she doesn't feel that someone that comes in under budget should be punished. And I think back to what a lot of people talk about. You know, if you got the spend it or lose it attitude in the budgets, it creates an issue.
Yeah.
And just as a kid, I remember my dad telling me that they repaved the transportation parking lot at the school district in New York because they had extra money, and if they didn't spend it, they were gonna lose it. And I think that spend it or lose it, and you talked about that too, James, creates a bad thing it's almost like punishing someone who's doing a good job.
Who's fiscally responsible.
Yes, and making it harder for them. So I have to agree with her. I'm not in favor of cutting that budget.
What they spend last year?
Last year total, they spent 13,159.
See, that was the budget committee's, the members' issue was that for many years she have overages.
Well, you
And
kinda, my point of view, on their type of business they get, you gotta leave a buffer.
What did they spend the year before, Paul?
2019 actual was 15,790.
Almost 16,000.
So
You gotta leave that buffer in, you don't know.
And the year before that, 2018, it was 18,605.
Can I say a little something about it?
Sure.
So, under the Maine State Constitution, we're required to have an animal officer. Every town is, that's required by law. And I'm gonna throw it out there because everybody knows what's going on. There's a horse running around. And if that horse comes into this town and we have to take it out, that's gonna eat a lot of that budget up.
Well,
And, to me, you should always, like you said, have a buffer, because you never know what's gonna happen with animals. You just don't. Like I said, I use that horse because that's the latest example. If that horse comes over here, it goes on one of our roads, now you gotta, bring professionals in, plus you gotta have the animal control officer there. Then you gotta probably get a contractor to deal with it. It's just, it doesn't make sense, because it's a state requirement that we have an animal control officer. She's been fiscally responsible since I've been a selectman. It sounds like she's been fiscally responsible even prior to me being a selectman. And I think we should give her some money if she needs it, because you never know what's gonna happen. I don't think that should be touched, that one. I think it's a fair, reasonable budget.
and I will add that her level of upsetness or being hurt or whatever, if she decides to leave, we need to find an animal control officer. And by cutting the budget, the money's gonna end up somewhere else more than likely, or maybe save $1,000 to the town, and it doesn't even save it if she comes in under budget. So it's not like we're automatically spending that money, and if she leaves, we're gonna have, it's not gonna be easy to find an animal control officer that does what she does, and that budget may grow if someone comes in and
Her and Carol are doing awesome.
they do.
They do.
Deborah?
So I just wanted to say also that, the excess money, whatever she doesn't use, comes back into the town, into the general fund. People don't, understand how important it is to have a little bit of money going into that general fund. I mean, that general fund can't be, people are calling it whatever they're calling it, but that general fund cannot be expended without a vote of the people. So that money is just sitting in there and generating interest and it's growing for the town, any excess from any of the budgets. Mary's included. So there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of extra, and then if she needs it and uses it, all good, and if she doesn't, it goes back into the general fund and can be utilized by the people at a later date, but not as a slush fund by the selectmen. It's to be used as, voted by the people what to use it for. So it's not like it's extra money that you guys are padding her budget with so you can use it. I just wanna make that very clear after last night.
James?
I just don't wanna make a clarification, and I'm doing this from memory, so I may be wrong. But I'm pretty sure the motion at the budget committee was not to cut her budget, but was to push back to the select board to see if there was a way to trim that money out.
Correct.
I believe.
Yeah,
I
and we were
know that's what I
gonna,
thought I voted on.
Made a motion to reduce the animal control request by $1,500.
Yeah, I know that's in the minutes, but I don't think that's what the motion was.
All
Right.
right, well, that's what we're going on.
Yeah, that's.
All right, so,
Oh, yeah, okay, so, yeah.
Paul, how do you feel?
Oh, I don't want to touch it.
Butch?
Leave it where it was.
Karina?
I think we should keep it as it is too.
I have to touch this.
All right.
Okay.
That's it.
Back to the Ryan house. One was for 4 months and one was for 2 months. And they've only turned away a student who had had significant mental health issues that we were not qualified to work with.
I'm okay with the Ryan house. Money being left where it is.
Thank you.
You said 4 months?
How about everybody else?
One was for 4 months and one was for,
2 months.
2 months.
Butch, do you wanna cut that or leave it?
Yeah, one for 4 and one for 2.
What are they asking for?
400 and some dollars?
$400?
$550.
$500 is worth helping 2 kids out. You know what I mean? I think.
And what they do is they help kids from the high school that, they find out that they're homeless, is what it is.
Alright.
And then they'll help them find another situation if they can.
You staying the same, Jeff?
I'm just gonna abstain, I guess. Only because I just wanna know more about what they actually do, because I've seen stuff where salaries that are generated from there are pretty significant. But whether they're the individuals that run it, own it, or what, I'm not sure, so, I'm just gonna abstain.
They do seem to be managing their finances well, because they had a pretty good bank account when I spoke to them.
Did you? Yeah.
What else you got, Paul?
It's one of those things I don't know enough about, you know?
I think I'm gonna need a executive session personnel.
Okay. Butch, what do you got?
Well, I sent you guys the email I got today. Sent you all this afternoon. I don't know if you guys got it first, or you guys got one the same thing, or.
I did.
But I think it's just pretty sorry day when they gotta accuse people and they don't know what's going on in this town. They don't know me, they get no right to say what they did. And,
What did the email say?
but it was about that guy, I don't even know his name.
Oh.
Mr. Fitzsimon.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
I will say something on that we are a political board here. And my feeling on public participation is if someone in the town wants to talk about something, I really don't have a problem with it, especially if it's political related. Now, what he described and what he is charged with were completely different things. I myself, if he had talked about if what he's accused of is true, and I don't know any of that, but my point is if he had described what they had accused him of doing and he said he was doing that sort of thing, I would have ended the discussion. It was more the way he described it of.
he was watching.
Yeah, and getting pushed around. So he said, I don't know what the facts are, whether it's his, theirs, or somewhere in the middle. But if what they're saying is true, I in no way condone that, regardless of what your beliefs are or political. But that's not what he talked about. And this board and myself and whatever did not, I know I don't condone that, and I don't think the rest of you do either. So that, I do want to say that I think it got carried away with what he talked about and what he's accused of. There's a big difference.
Well said, Chuck.
Anything else, Butch? Nope. Selectman Adams?
Nope, just, looks like we're gonna, begin in full swing for Babe Ruth here, and, no pun intended, right? So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll have, an application ready. I'm gonna see if the board will allow me to keep them at the town hall for people to pick up. That way we can try to get them pulled in. We don't have a set fee yet. It looks like, Dave Adam and myself will be, primarily heading up the Lebanon Babe Ruth this
Former
year.
professional pitcher?
Yep, that's him.
Related?
No, it's Adam. I'm Adam.
Oh.
He's talented.
Yeah, he's talented.
Oh, the shot.
Can I have you a string?
I was a hockey player. He was a baseball player, but I was good at baseball too.
I have a question for you. So Babe Ruth won't be using the field on weekends, right?
So we're gonna be using that field every chance we get, yeah.
Including weekends, so it's not open for anybody to use then?
Well, I mean, you're talking that group that, yeah, and I already talked to Chuck, last year about when the Babe Ruth program's here, Lebanon Babe Ruth gets first priority. It's town field for town kids.
So I'm gonna
He's
have,
aware of that.
no, it's not Chuck, it's Coastal.
Yeah, it's Chuck Chapman.
Well, I talked to Jana,
Oh, yeah, no, Chuck owns it.
so.
I've known Chuck for years. But
um,
I already talked to him about it. He's aware of that. If we got scheduled games, we're playing.
So I'm
I don't
gonna-
think our schedules overlap.
They want weekends, is what they want.
They can want them,
But I'm gonna tell them, well, I just want out of it, so I'm gonna tell them that they need to go directly to you, and I'm not.
yeah, when we get the schedule, we'll talk.
I don't wanna do the schedule.
But he's aware, Coastal Riptide is 100% aware that Lebanon Babe Ruth is gonna have the priority for the field, and the teams of other Lebanon sports in this town have priority use for that field.
So I'll let them know to go directly through you, okay?
Yeah, and he was made aware of that last year. That's why he went to Sanford, and he's using the Sanford fields as well, out behind the airport.
Yeah, they did use our fields a lot last.
Absolutely.
And they put a bunch of money into they put some clay and some.
No, Chris Stokes did that as an individual.
Correct.
Yes. Well, it was Chris Stokes, what he told me was he did it and brought in the dirt.
I heard that they were saying that they put some financial backing into that field.
They might
They might have, I'm not saying they didn't.
Yeah,
But Chris Stokes is one of the Danfield over. He's a local guy, he's on the Little League board, I think, right? And actually, he's supposed to possibly help us out this year as well.
The dugout?
The dugout is,
Dugout should be all paid for, and that's Phil Newton and Adam Moran that are doing that, and Scotty Garrett.
so, I'll reach out to Chuck, I'll
It's his
talk to
birthday
him.
today too, by the way.
It is, happy birthday, Scotty!
I'll reach out to Chuck, I'll give him a call, touch base with him, so I don't know what the Babe Ruth schedule is, but he does know Babe Ruth's a priority.
schedule, okay.
Touch base, no pun intended. And back to Dave Adam, before I was told that he's so much talented than me, which he is, and I'll be the first to admit it because he is a professional baseball player. I was not. However, I got more wins than him as a coach, so there's that. But anyways, we'll be coaching together. We'll be coaching together. If all goes well with the South Warwick program, got a couple coaches that are going to be taking over that played for me at one time. They're older now. They're getting old because I've coached for a long time. So if they take over the team and their bosses agree with it, he will be coaching in Lebanon. If not, he'll still be in Berwick.
Okay.
So that's where that's at.
Anything else?
He is the most important man.
This guy, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
No, nothing else. But Dave is a great guy. If people don't know him, for all the kids in town, you get a chance to be coached by a professional baseball player. So there you go.
Good job, Ken.
Karina?
Okay.
What's that? I don't have anything tonight, but before we go to Good of Town, let's see, we have a new guest. Hello, Brian.
Hello, people. Thanks for making time for me tonight. I really wanted to talk to you people about the abatement on my property at 97 New Bridge Road.
the way the vote went, I thought for sure that there must be a misunderstanding. What I'm trying to do is right or wrong, whereas my dad was overcharged $1,700 a year, overtaxed for decades. And I'm trying to get this money back to him. I'm trying to give you people a chance to write that. I'm not really trying to get the money to me as the current owner. And I was wondering, if we could revisit this and re-vote and consider that we have the chance to right a small fraction of the wrong.
Well, I have to agree with you, especially, I mean, your dad's been in the community a long time with his repair shop and whatnot. And it's, even going back 3 years doesn't scratch the surface. And I went through it personally, and, they asked me why I wasn't even happy getting 3 years back. And, well, $22,000, I think it was 11 years or 10 year, whatever it was, $22,000 turning into $6,000 in my pocket does not make me happy.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can ask the other three if they want to reconsider. Anybody want to reconsider their vote?
I sympathize, but I can't.
Okay. Butch?
So,
You consider it if we're gonna talk it over, but. I mean,
If anybody who wants to, of the three that voted, if they want to reconsider, they can make a motion that we go back.
How about if we, take what I'm saying upon advisement and I'll leave and let you decide, without me saying again. I just really feel that it's very wrong. I mean, how negligent is it for someone to be overtaxed to the tune of 60% or more? I mean, that's a lot. And that insult to injury, the same thing happened to me. I was being overtaxed. And the only reason that got caught is because I got an audit from the state. They wanted to make sure I was, you can only write off 10 acres and I had 17. So they needed to make sure that my CPA was doing that right. So we had to make a mock tax thing. I mean, it's like we've all been assessed poorly. And,
Well, I agree, there's no rhyme or reason to the assessment, and again, I agree with you, but it's, I mean, if one of those three wants to make a motion, they can. If not, we can't help you, and I apologize, because I would really like to.
well, all right, I know that you guys talk about that, but I really wish you three would reconsider because he's a really good guy and you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that he hasn't done something for in this town. And just whacking for that much money all those years and get a chance to give him just a little bit of backs. Nice little 80-year-old guy, then go on a vacation or something, All right, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Brian.
hey, Brad.
Anybody want to make a motion, or we good?
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is, like I said before about the house, I mean, it's not a regular, it's got all these big additions on it. I mean, it's, and like you said, it's hard to, you're not gonna get what's conserved back anyway, probably. So,
can I say something?
Sure.
Okay, so he said it's been going on for multiple years, so one of those, I mean, he's been charged at the high tax rate for multiple years, and this is my position. Money's elderly, and I'm not even sure how he caught it, but he caught it. Two, I think if we overtax anybody, they should be entitled to what we took from them, because essentially that's taxation without representation. That's, I can't really speak for that because I'm not in the situation you have. I'm not in the situation Brian's dad's been in. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, so, but that sounds like an awful lot of money to me. And I understand money, and money's not easy to come by. And an elderly person, fixed income as well.
Well, when I was talking to the assessor over some other things, and I said, that's just not fair. And he said to me, what's legal and fair are two different things. And I agree, but it doesn't make it right. So, I mean, the floor is open for a motion. If not, we're gonna move on to good of the town.
Well, you looking for a motion from anybody? Or?
Well, if you wanna make it, you can make it.
No, it has to come from me.
One of the three people?
Yeah.
Okay,
To be reconsidered has to come from one.
okay. All right. All right. Good of the town. Deborah?
So, I'd like to thank everybody that came out to the American Red Cross blood drive, this past weekend. We had 19 donors, out of a possible 28 slots, 19 donors. Four brand new, including 4 brand new donors. I want to thank those people for coming out and giving it a try. And they were actually very surprised that it was so easy to give blood. We had a great time. We had food. Robin Moore and Jim Moore, thank you so much. They brought amazing cake. It was so good. Cindy brought sandwiches and I brought soup. We fed everybody. We had a great time with everybody, and we collected a total of 21 pints, which for a small space, because I wanted to talk to people because they seemed a little down that we had been collecting 50 pints pretty consistently, and now we're collecting 21. And I wanted to speak to people tonight regarding that change. When we were collecting 50 pints, we had David's garage, and it's huge, and we had 7 beds operating. So we were actually pulling people from Berwick and Sanford and Rochester over and filling our appointments, and we had 50 pints of blood pretty consistently. But now we're back at Station 1 because David's utilizing his own space, which he has the right to do. We're back at Station 1, and the back room at Station 1 can hold 3 beds. So in the upcoming days, as we continue on with our blood drive, the plan is that once good weather comes and we can move the trucks outside, that we're going to utilize the bay space as well over at Station 1. And why we can't do that now, pull the trucks outside, is because they're diesel trucks and they have to stay either running all the time or they have to stay warm. So to save the taxpayers money, we don't want to be pulling all those trucks out and running them all day. So we did pull one truck out, and we utilized that space for rehab and signing. In the future, mine says things go on in the weather, warms up, we'll move all those trucks out and we'll utilize the bay space also for collection of blood. Our next American Red Cross blood drive is something new to Lebanon. We're giving it a try. A lot of people have asked us to have it on a weeknight where they can come. So we're having our next blood drive at Station 1 on Tuesday, April 13th, and that's going to be from 1 to 5:30. So I highly encourage people that wanted a weekday blood drive to sign up for that. They can use their blood drive app on their phone, download an app. They can call 1-800-RED-CROSS, or they can go to www.redcross.org and sign up for it that way. And hopefully we'll get a lot of people. And then if our first weeknight chance goes good, we have our Saturday ones all the way booked until December 18th this year. But if the weeknight one goes good, we're going to try to fill in some weeknight blood drives during the year. So if people want weeknight ones, I highly encourage them to show up for this Tuesday one on April 13th, because then it will prove to the Red Cross that Lebanon wants a weeknight blood drive. So there's that. The second thing that I wanted to have a discussion about is, hold on, I got it right here. Oh, the USDA food boxes. We have one coming up this week on the 25th, which is Thursday afternoon. Eddie's guys are going to go up and pick those food boxes up in Lewiston. They should be back here in Lebanon right around 9 o'clock. As always, first come, first serve. It's going to be at Eddie B's, where this last one was, which is at 1 Zeke's Way on the corner of Upper Guinea Road, and it's in and out. Just drive in, open your window, we'll put it in your car. And then there's also one on Wednesday, March 3rd. Once again, I can't say enough about Eddie B, Ted Kryzak, for putting this all together with the Good Shepherd Food Pantry. And because we've been giving away consistently so many, we're actually getting 2 extra pallets, so an extra 100 food boxes in Lebanon, this next time.
Just
My-
try 'em out again.
My buddy here, James, he just works so hard and, it helps me go out and deliver to people who can't get out and, uses his own truck and his own fuel and never lets me participate in paying for that. So I can't say enough. And when I can't lift those boxes out of the truck, James is right on it. So, I just want everybody to know James and his, commitment to the community, how hard he works. So, and people asked, Mel was in, real estate class, not real estate class, mortgage class this last time. Mel Lauren and Miners Diner are very much a part of this. She's closed right now, so we're having it at Eddie B's. But Mel will be, for those that are asking and wanted to see her, will be at Eddie B's on February 25th, helping us give out, the food boxes. So that's the answer to that question. All right, and the last thing that I wanted to talk about is another successful and amazingly fun time at Matt Leggett's house, for his community skate party. A lot of people came out, a lot of different people than the first time too, so, it was a lot of fun. And, I've been told that Matt and Kathleen are gonna be planning another one shortly. And I encourage everybody to come out and I'll share that date with you as soon as I know, but thank you, 2 thumbs up to Matt and Kathleen and the fun that we all had. Even I rolled in after blood drive and they fed me, so that was good. So I just wanted to say thank you to them for that. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about was actually, because the conservation was in here and talking about it today, usually in November, I schedule my Lebanon cleanup day. I haven't because of COVID, and it was closed because of COVID last year. I want to leave that on the table, that I'm still willing to do that. I still look forward to do it. Right now, the governor just extended her state of emergency until March 18th for that. And Lebanon cleanup day is always a Saturday, either before or after Earth Day, which this year would, Earth Day is April 22nd, which is a Thursday, so we would normally have it April 24th. I just want to leave that on the table that I'm willing to do that. I don't want to go through all scheduling it and getting everybody all signed up for it and stuff and then have it closed or stopped. So I just want to leave that date on the table with you, the 24th of April, and that if we wind up being able to have it, that's when I'd like to schedule to have it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
James, do you have anything?
Just a real quick one. I want to shout out to Scotty and all our plow drivers. Our roads are great. I know there were some problems with the mailboxes. I understand that was all taken care of.
Yeah.
You guys work your butts off. I know you're out all hours in the nasty weather.
2 thumbs
Nice
up,
job.
Scott. Happy birthday, buddy.
That's not just because it's birthday. I meant to do that in front. It's birthday.
All right, anybody have anything good at the time? I do. Deborah, you just had your 69th birthday? No, I wanted to.
Monday. Monday, I'm not even 60 yet. Monday, I'll be 60.
Okay. I want to say thank you for what you do for the town. You've been doing plowing, and when people don't have an ability to plow their driveway,
Yeah.
and I believe Brian helps you with that. He does his route and your route?
Yeah, he does. He has his own route, and then he comes out with me to do veterans, low income, handicapped people. He's been a huge help to me, so.
And
I
the
appreciate it.
wood calls in the middle of the night for people that need wood and delivering wood to elderly and I think the biggest thing is, if I may ask, how much did you take out of your own pocket and put into that vehicle for the town? May I ask that?
Ken, for a chief's vehicle,
Yes.
3,000.
So, and
Yeah, that was.
I want to say thank you for that. He was in desperate need of a new vehicle and you got a lot of donations, and then what didn't come in through miscommunication and lack of follow through of other people or whatever it was, paying that out of your pocket.
I couldn't leave the firefighters on the hook for it.
Nope, and I wanna say thank you from me anyways, for everything you do for the people in the town, so.
While we're on that, actually, something I almost forgot. One of our firefighters here in town, Anthony Califano, he also does a lot of free mechanic work for the town on our tanker and on our engine. It's simple things that he can do. He works as a mechanic. This past week, he was at the station and he was working on the tanker, some issues with the tanker. He put his toolbox on the back of the fire engine. And we've got a call to go to Acton for Tattle Street for a barn fire there. Anthony was out picking up some parts and left his toolbox on the back of the engine, and the engine and the tanker went down the road, and somewhere around Butcher's house, actually, over on Henry Mills Road, Anthony's toolbox fell off the back of the truck, and mental note, they're gonna pick it up on their way back. They wound up over in Acton about 5 hours. And on their way back, the toolbox is, of course, gone. But Anthony needs those tools for his livelihood.
What were they? Ratchets and wrenches?
I don't know, but they were good tools. And Chris Fredette, one of our other firefighters, has put up a GoFundMe. You can find that on Lebanon Me and You page. You can also find that on Lebanon Maine Truth Seekers page. And several of our firefighters have it on their personal page. He has to raise about $2,500 to replace his toolbox and all the tools. As we all know, they're expensive to have good tools. Currently, when I came in tonight, it was sitting about $300. And I know there have been some anonymous personal donations through Chief. But if people can go and help with that, $5, $10. I mean, this kid works hard for this town, and he's a really good responder. He's a real big guy, and he's the one that gets to hold the ladder for everybody because he's strong. He's just a real good kid anyway. And if people are so inclined to, please go find that GoFundMe account, Anthony Califano, and it's the GoFundMe is by Chris Fredette, and it's for his tools, to help replace his tools. So I'd appreciate that if people would go and donate there. Or anonymously, if you want to donate anonymously, go down.
You can do it anonymously on GoFundMe too.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Well, no, you can go to Chief anyway.
And the other thing I want to mention too is that the fire department had a problem with their toilets. And their plumbing.
did.
And instead of wanting to immediately call a plumber, they, Freeman, Sprague, did a lot of work on trying to figure it out, and then reached out to me about getting a more powerful snake that I tried to rent. With some conversation with some people, we came up with the fact the same thing happened at my house, that something might be hung up further down the line. And I kind of explained what people explained to me, and him, Freeman and the guys went out, took a cover off the septic, took care of the blockage on that side, and probably saved the town about $400. And that's just what's going on down at that fire department.
So can I just add to that?
I couldn't be happier with how they're
Freeman
going on
was
there.
out to dinner with his kids. At 9:00 at night, he was on his way home, and I messaged him and said, hey, did that problem with the toilet ever get straightened out? I have a blood drive at 9:00 tomorrow morning. Freeman dropped off his kids, and that's when they went back and did that work. Late at night at the station, when he should have been home with his kids and his wife, and I know his wife misses him horribly all the time, but he went back to make sure that we had a working toilet, because we would have had to cancel that blood drive without a working toilet.
No, I think the work these guys are doing, that are going above and beyond to make, and it's just, let's face it, they could just say, we need to call a plumber. That's their job, is not to pull the cover off the septic.
That's right.
And do this. And there's so much pride in that station right now, and these guys are saving taxpayer dollars right and left. And I think they should be recognized for that.
And because of that, we got to have our blood drive too, which we were gonna have to cancel if we didn't have that toilet, so.
Could have saved someone's life.
Well, you know what, 21 pints of blood, that's times 3, that's 63 people that have the possibility of being benefited from that blood that was collected here in Lebanon.
Yeah.
So Freeman, 63 lives.
All right. Paul?
Make a motion to go into.
Oh, wait,
Oh, sorry.
Did we ever do a official motion to put the chief's old vehicle up to bid?
No.
Should we be doing that? Cause I mean, the chief gave it back and it's supposed to be going out to bid.
And the yellow fire truck.
140.
Yeah, he had a list of vehicles.
Scotty, I think says the town can make use of that tanker truck. So I think we should wait on that one, but, because what we're gonna get for it in return, I don't, if the town could use it. It's a really nice truck. I don't know how everybody feels about that, but.
We're talking
Well, I
about the
mean,
SUV that was
could
out
we
there.
make a start, just put the chief's vehicle
Well, I
out
was gonna
on
say, yeah, maybe the
auction,
chief's
I
vehicle
mean,
and
up for auction?
the engine was the yellow
Well,
engine, what?
143.
That's the other one.
I'm kind
He has to give
of,
me all the specs. It is very hard to get stuff out of the chief.
well, I'm kind of hesitant on the big truck because I think we should wait until we find out if the town will approve the other truck.
The other truck they already have.
Right. They already have the new one.
I'm waiting, what do you?
But I mean, I
What's
think we could at
everybody
least
else
make a
feel?
motion to put that one out to bid,
Which
the
one? Is that
chief's
the-
vehicle.
SUV?
Is it the Ford Explorer? Yeah, we heard there was already a minimum bid there.
Right there on LGS.
Yeah, so could we make a motion? Could I make a motion to put the old chief's vehicle to bid?
What did you say?
Is it in the snowbank now, or?
I don't know where it is.
Well, I know it's up to the station, but I thought they plowed it in, so it's only reason.
If it's that bad, you ain't gonna get a whole lot for it.
143 is at station 2.
No, the chief's vehicle.
Chief's vehicle is there too?
No, it's over this station, but I think it's plowed in.
All right, why don't we wait, talk to the chief and see if it's free, available, and then next week you can make that motion if everybody's okay with that.
I could call Brian to go plow it up, but it'd probably cost you $5,500. Just saying.
I just got a feeling like snowbank right now. It's probably solid ice.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I know my road, then my driveway is, yeah.
All right. You ready, Paul?
Try. Make a motion to go into executive session for personnel, MRSA.
568.
Any seconds? Second. Discussion? All in favor?
I'm stealing them.
Have it. Can we take a 5-minute
Oh, please.
recess?
Oh, correct.
Yeah.